Hi, I'm Asiye, and I'm currently studying software at Sungkyunkwan University in South Korea as a 2025 GKS scholar. In this video, I'll be sharing how I applied for the Global Korea Scholarship, which documents I prepared, the differences between the embassy and university tracks, and some key tips you should know. If you are planning to apply, make sure to watch until the end. Well, before we dive into the application process, let me quickly explain what the GKS is, especially for those hearing about it for the first time. GKS stands for the Global Korea Scholarship, which is a fully funded scholarship provided by the Korean government to an organization called NIED, that's the National Institute for International Education. The scholarship covers everything: tuition, monthly living expenses, flight tickets, settlement allowance, Korean language training, etc. Basically, once you are selected, you can focus on studying without worrying about financial burdens. There are different tracks depending on your academic level. GKS-U is for undergraduate applicants, and GKS-G is for those applying to master's or PhD programs. I personally came to the GKS-U. Let's now talk about one of the most confusing parts of GKS process, the embassy track and the university track. In the embassy track, you apply through the Korean embassy in your country. You submit your documents there, and if you're shortlisted, you go to an interview, and then if you're selected, the embassy forwards your documents to NIED, and then after NIED forwards your documents to the 3 universities you chose in your application. Embassy track is extremely competitive, especially for GKS-U. In many countries, only 1 or 2 students get selected for undergraduates, but the advantage is that you can apply to top universities with embassy track, which often accept students only through the embassy track. In the university track, you apply directly to one university that offers GKS slots. If they select you, your name is sent to NIED for final approval. This track looks less complicated in terms of steps, but your options are limited. You should be careful about it. You can only choose one university, and sometimes only specific majors. Also, don't forget that you can't apply to both embassy track and university track. You should choose one. I personally chose embassy track because I wanted to apply more than one university, and I wanted to apply to Sungkyunkwan University. My three universities were Sungkyunkwan University, Korean Nation University, and Yongsan Nation University, and I chose Sungkyunkwan University. So which track is better? It really depends on your goals, academic background, and which universities you are aiming for. But if you are targeting high-ranked schools or want flexibility, embassy track is usually the way to go. Now, let's go over the documents you'll need to send for your GKS application, along with some tips based on my own experience. Whether you apply to the embassy or the university track, the required documents are almost the same. It may vary by country. For example, some embassies require 3 sets of documents. They are copies, not the originals. The 3 copies of the original documents. But I'll tell you that the Korean embassy in Turkey doesn't want that. No problem for Turkish students. So always make sure to check the official NIED guidelines in your local embassy or university website for your specific year. Here I will list some required documents for GKS-U. Application form, personal statement, study plan, 1 letter of recommendation letter, it can depend on the year, high school diploma or a certificate of expected graduation. For Turkish students, you need a diploma, high school transcript with a GPA clearly stated, proof of nationality like passport or ID, proof of parents' nationality and your relationship with them, medical checkup form. Don't worry, it's in the guidelines, like you will just fill this. Topic or English test score, and like our certificates, volunteer works. These in language proficiency tests and our certificates are optional, but highly recommended. And like for my tips, like all documents must be in English or Korean. If they are not, you need to submit notarized and apostilled translations. And don't forget to use paper clips, not staples. And NIED specifically says this in the guidelines. Carefully check the documents order and always place the checklist. For me, the most time-consuming part was collecting and translating family documents and getting the apostille. So I strongly recommend starting early, even before the official announcement is released. And please don't leave your recommendation letter to the last minute. Give your teacher or advisor at least 2 or 3 weeks and explain clearly what GKS is and why you are applying. Let's talk about the timeline, because missing a deadline means missing your chance completely, and I have seen that happen to people. Every year, the official GKS guidelines are released by NIED on the website studyinkorea.go.kr. For undergraduate GKS-U, the announcements usually come out in September, and the deadline is around early to mid-October, depending on your country and track. If you are applying through the embassy track, you need to regularly check your country's embassy website and their social media accounts. Each country sets its own specific deadline. In my case, the Korean embassy in Turkey announced it around like mid-September, as the guidelines by NIED were announced. If you're applying through the university track, you need to check the websites of participating universities. You can see participating universities in the guidelines of NIED. So not all universities accept students every year, and their timelines may vary. After submission, if you're shortlisted for the embassy track, interviews usually take place in October. And for university track, it can depend on the university. They will probably tell you in their email what is the date of interview. And all of the final results are typically announced in January or February. That's why I always say, don't wait for the announcement to start preparing. You can draft your study plan, personal statement, and start translating your documents ahead of time. Trust me, it helps a lot. Now let's talk about some common mistakes I have seen and also made during the GKS application process, and what you can do to avoid them. Mistake 1: not reading the guidelines carefully. The official GKS guidelines are long and sometimes boring enough, but every detail matters. I have seen people get disqualified just because they missed one small instruction, like using staples or submitting a document in the wrong order. Mistake 2: last minute preparation. Some applicants wait for the announcement and then try to do everything in 2 weeks. Believe me, that's not enough. Translating and apostilling documents, writing your study plan, personal statement, getting recommendation letters, this takes time. Start early. Mistake 3: weak or generic essays. Your personal statement and study plan are not just forms. That's your voice. Don't just copy examples you found online. Instead, focus on your real goals, experiences, and why Korea specifically matters to you. Be honest, be specific. Mistake 4: incomplete documents or wrong formats. For example, some people forgot to sign a form or send blurry scanned copies. Some embassies are strict about file quality or order, so triple check everything before you submit. Mistake 5. Not following up. Some applicants submit and then completely disconnect. For both embassy track and university track, you might get interview info by email or phone, so always check your inbox or spam folder regularly. To close this video, I want to share some realistic advice to help you choose the right path for yourself, including how to choose the right track, university, and major. For the tracks, these two tracks are not about which one is easier or harder. They are simply different in structure and options. The embassy track allows you to apply up to 3 universities, which gives you flexibility and broader options. The process involves both embassy screening and university evaluation, so it can take more time and planning. Also, some universities, especially top universities, only accept GKS applicants through embassy track for undergraduates. The university track, on the other hand, lets you apply to one university that offers GKS slots. This can be a more direct process with fewer steps, but you have just one chance, one school, so your profile needs to align closely with a specific program. So instead of asking which one is easier, ask yourself, do I want to apply to multiple universities or just one? Does the university I'm targeting participate in the track I'm choosing? Am I prepared for the documents, requirements, and schedule of each option? So, yeah. And look beyond university rankings. Focus on the program language, like is it in Korean or English, curriculum, support services, and your own academic fit. For majors, pick something you truly care about and can explain in your essays. It doesn't have to be fancy, it just has to be connected to your interests and future goals. Yeah, and GKS is not about being the perfect student, don't forget that. It's about being prepared, consistent, and strategic. Understand the system, play to your strengths, and focus on what makes your story and goals meaningful. I hope this video helped you understand the process more clearly. If you have questions, I'll do my best to reply in the comments or DM. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Good luck to everyone applying.